We tend to have an affinity for all things vampires, demons, and the forces of darkness in October, and luckily, there are many fun Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes to enjoy this spooky season. Whether it's Buffy's scariest monsters, badass witches, or the show's ability to use the supernatural as a metaphor for our relatable fears, there are many reasons why Buffy is a go-to fall favorite. Interestingly, there are only 3 Buffy Halloween episodes throughout the entire series. They're a great place to start, but spooky season is all about having something for everyone. Buffy is a great horror TV show for people who don't like horror because it can often have a campy tone that still embodies the Halloween spirit. On the other hand, there are some episodes that are pure nightmare fuel. All the Way Season 6, Episode 6. As it takes place on Halloween, we couldn't not put Season 6 All the Way on the list, but it's by no means one of Buffy's best episodes. A dawn-centric episode, All the Way sees the Slayer's little sister lying about sleeping over with her friend Janice on Halloween night, only for them to sneak off with 2 older boys who are secretly vampires that plan to turn the girls. Dawn may not deserve all the hate she received, but she's definitely the least compelling Buffy main character, and the episode suffers for it. Still, All the Way is big on spooky season vibes, from the Scoobies in costume to teenage mischief to a creepy house full of creepier toys, so if you like your Halloween fare on the lighter side, this is a Buffy episode for you. Phases Season 2, Episode 15. From a football player zombie to an Inca mummy, Buffy Season 2 sees the Slayer battling a myriad of supernatural creatures beyond her standard vampires, and Phases introduces werewolves. The episode revolves around a werewolf terrorizing Sunnydale on the 3 nights of the full moon, with the Scoobies investigating to find out who it is. Whereas Buffy simply kills most demons she crosses paths with, a werewolf is a regular person when there's no full moon, giving her hunt complexity alongside some excellent spooky season thrills. Plus, when the werewolf turns out to be Ounce, we know that we'll get more than what we normally do from a 1-episode Buffy Monster of the Week creature. Witch Season 1, Episode 3. Buffy's first episode that doesn't feature a vampire antagonist, which finds the Slayer attempting to live a normal teenage life by auditioning for the cheerleading squad, only for her fellow hopefuls to experience a series of increasingly disturbing accidents and phenomena. With the culprit being Amy's mom, the episode leans a little too heavily into the unfortunate horror trope of an older woman looking to steal youth. But that aside, given the fact that witches become such an important part of Buffy lore, it's fun and exciting to see one on screen for the first time. Plus, seeing a literal bubbling cauldron adds to the campy spirit of the season. Killed by Death Season 2, Episode 18. One of Buffy's best Monster of the Week episodes is also one of the scariest in the entire show. In Killed by Death, a flu-stricken Buffy is admitted to the hospital, where she learns that kids are being killed off one by a demon named Der Kindestard, who preys on sick children. With his Freddy Krueger-like appearance and terrifying method for killing, extending his eyeballs and sucking the life out of his victims, Der Kindestard is frightening enough. But the episode's premise, of vulnerable children being even more helpless against their killer because only those with a fever can see him, is twisted and scary enough to spawn a horror movie. Nightmare Season 1, Episode 10. As a whole, Buffy Season 1 is more spoopy than spooky, but Nightmares is a perfect marriage of the two tones. Sure, when people's nightmares start coming true in Sunnydale, it's silly to see Xander show up to school wearing nothing but his underwear, or Willow forced on stage to perform an opera where she doesn't know the words. But these nightmares are also scary and relatable because we all know what it's like to have our own versions of them. We also get insight into what Buffy and the Scoobies really fear, which adds emotional depth to their characters. Throw in the legitimately compelling mystery of who the ugly man is, and you've got a perfect representation of Buffy's signature campy horror brand. I Only Have Eyes for You Season 2, Episode 19. Given the array of supernatural beings already introduced at this point in the show, it's surprising it took until almost the end of Season 2 for Buffy to get its first ghost, and it does not disappoint. The ghosts of a teacher and student who fell in love at Sunnydale High in the 1950s take center stage here, as they possess the living and repeatedly recreate their tragic ending. Ghosts are a spooky season staple, and the haunting ways they try to resolve their unfinished business never grow stale. I Only Have Eyes for You embraces the unfinished business horror trope perfectly while staying true to the Buffy plot, as a grieving Giles first thinks the ghost is Jenny Calendar, while Buffy and Angelus's own unfinished business is ironically how the spirits find peace. Doppelgangland Season 3, Episode 16. What is Halloween if not a chance to embrace our dark side, and in Doppelgangland, Willow does just that, albeit unwillingly, at first. In the episode, the alternate reality from Buffy's The Wish episode is revisited when Willow and Anya's spell accidentally summons Vampire Willow, who wreaks havoc on Sunnydale. Though Doppelgangland is by no means a Halloween episode, Percy does ask Vampire Willow if she's trick-or-treating when he mistakes her for her human counterpart, and is shocked by her attire. She may be dismayed that a demon who looks like her is causing such destruction, but when Willow dons her vampire self's revealing leather getup, she realizes the power she's been struggling to assert has been inside her all along. It's something many of us wish for after we retire our Halloween costumes for the season, and it's also what makes Doppelgangland such a great Buffy episode. Fear itself Season 4, Episode 4. Buffy Season 4 is incredibly underrated as a whole, and one of the many reasons why is the show's second Halloween episode, Fear itself. Buffy and the Scoobies are invited to a Halloween frat party, only to be antagonized by their worst fears coming true as they get deeper into the makeshift haunted house. Like with Nightmares, Fear itself is such a great episode because we get deep into the characters' heads and see what truly scares them. Even though it's fun to see the haunted house trope in full effect here, it's Buffy and Company's worst nightmares that are the source of the real frights. Plus, Gakna is an absolutely fantastic Monster of the Week villain, and could be a spooky season mascot. Hush Season 4, Episode 10. What Buffy episode can be better suited for spooky season than one that takes place on Halloween? To any Buffy fan, the answer is obvious: Hush. In Buffy's scariest ever episode, the terrifying gentlemen descend upon Sunnydale, stealing the townsfolk's voices so that nobody can scream when the monsters cut out their hearts at night. If that premise isn't enough to scare you, nothing on the show is. The gentlemen aren't just the best villains in Buffy Season 4, but one of the best in the entire show, and if nightmare fuel is what you're after this spooky season, no episode will keep your engine running like Hush. Halloween Season 2, Episode 6. The ultimate Buffy spooky.